Okay, so hi guys, I'm back with another video, and in today's video I'll be explaining all the mistakes that I made in the first attempt of my CLAT and AILET exam, and I'll be telling about them point by point so that you don't repeat those mistakes in your exam, which is in 5 months, by the way. And I really hope that you learn something from this video, and yeah, let's get started. So for a bit of background for those who don't know, I gave the CLAT and AILET 2024 paper as well as the 2025 paper, and I was in class 12th when I gave the 2024 paper, and then I took a gap year and I gave the paper the second time around. So I made a lot of changes in my second time, and I'll be explaining the errors that I made the first time, which I completely ignored and didn't realize. So I feel like the most important thing is obviously the reading speed in CLAT, because I think people who have been readers since childhood, they obviously have an upper hand in the beginning of the preparation. I'll be honest, I was a reader, sure, and I had good speed. I feel like I had a good speed textbook wise, but I was not so much of a reader in general, like novels and stuff. I had read novels, but I was not like a reader. So personally, when I started my CLAT preparation the first time around, I felt a lot of difficulty. Like I used to feel a lot of inferiority in the sense that my speed is very slow compared to other people, and like I would take a lot of time finishing my mocks. I could not finish my mocks till the end of my first attempt ki preparation, and that is something that very much affected me also, because that would put my morale down, my confidence down and everything. So but the biggest mistake was that I was not ready to work on it. I would read the newspaper because everyone was like, in newspaper se reading speed increase hoti hai, so I would every day blindly open the editorial section and read it. But then I was completing the editorial section also in a span of like 1 hour 20 minutes. So that defeats the whole point of like opening a newspaper and using it for reading speed, right? So I didn't consciously work on it, and I would just take hours and hours, and I was very blinded. Okay, I'm completing a task. I am told to read the newspaper, but I'm not told to read the newspaper. I'm told to increase my reading speed through it. I had to use it as a tool. So that's something I didn't do. But during my second time around, I used to set timers. I was like, if I'm completing today's editorial in 35 minutes, then I will make sure that I'm completing the next editorial that I like next day's newspaper editorial in a span of 30 minutes. I would always try to challenge myself with new timings. So to conclude, what I'm trying to explain is that you have to use the newspaper as something that will help you give your mocks in a less amount of time. So you have to treat it as if you're reading the editorial that has been given to you as a passage in a mock. So read it like that and underline it exactly how you would underline in a mock, and just don't go casual about your preparation. Like everything you do, try to correlate it with the fact that okay, if I'm doing this like this, then my mock में भी ऐसा ही perform करूँगा / करूँगी. Secondly, I feel like this is not like really talked about enough, but I feel like underlining and what you mark in the question paper and then what you mark in the OMR are also very important components, because anything that you do, if you're not marking it in the OMR, it doesn't make sense. You're not getting marks. The paper that's getting checked will not like detect your answers. So I feel like in my first time around, I used to underline every single line of the paragraph or the passage that I was given, like every single line. And then obviously when I would go back while like reading the questions, I would be like, oh, what was the important point? Because I had underlined everything. Isse acha don't underline only, right? If you're underlining everything. So what I used to do the second time around was that I would only underline the very important things. And pehle in my first attempt, I used to see, this is a very personalized thing. Like it may not work for everyone, but this OMR thing worked for me. I did it in my CLAT and AILET 2025 both exams. So what I did was that I used to mark after each like 5 questions. Like I had to mark after each passage. So if I've read one passage, I would mark the question, like the answers first in the question paper. Like I would put a small dot, not a big one, because the invigilator can have a problem with that. And sometimes even underlining is like you're not allowed to do that in the paper. So what I did was that I used to mark after every 5 questions, and it helped me. And like that increased my speed also somehow, and it gave me a sense of confidence that in one go only I am marking 5 questions. So that you can always check this out in a few mocks of yours. Just try it in your next 2-3 mocks and see how, if it works for you. If it doesn't, then you can always go about how you were going. And so now that we are on the topic of like an OMR, it's so important to be cautious with what you're marking in your OMR, because like I remember in my first attempt I marked, I think 109 के option में what I had to mark in 108, and then the whole series of like next 6-7 questions got wrong, and then I got to know this in the paper itself, so it became like a whole chaotic thing where I started to panic, but I still couldn't do anything about it, and I had to still go on with my paper. So be very, very cautious. Don't get obsessed with it ki, oh my god, there's an OMR and I have to be very cautious, because if you do that then also it can backfire. But like just be cautious, just be like calm and like aware about it. Now I'm coming to a topic that a lot of you can relate to, which is maths. I was not good at maths, I'll be honest, but the difference between the first time and the second time was that in the first time I really neglected maths. Like I would attend classes, sure, but like after the classes I would not go and practice the maths on my own, which is I think something that's very important. And I'm not saying that you have to be very good at maths to clear CLAT or AILET both, but you need to, we have only 5-6 topics that are important in CLAT, okay, and you need to just focus on them and master those and their data interpretation questions, because that's what's coming in the exam. You can't just do one-liner questions, and you have to genuinely just master those and spend 2 hours every day. But that is something I really ignored. I was like, I'll do it without maths. But after the 120 questions thing, you cannot wholeheartedly ignore maths, because like it is an important section, it is a breakthrough section, unless and until you're bringing like 105 or like 108 in the whole paper, then you can obviously neglect maths. But if someone is neglecting maths, they're very behind the race, because no one is coming, like at least the people who are getting top ranks, none of them come with the mindset ki, okay, I'm going to leave maths like wholly. Just try to spend 2 hours on maths every single day if it's weak. If it's your strength, then you can still go a little casual about it, but like if it's not, then just try to spend like a good amount of time every single day. Don't ignore it. Solve, like I would personally suggest, like what I did was like I'd pick a topic, and then in 1 week I would solve that topic concepts and their one-liner questions, and the next week would go in solving their data interpretation questions. Like I would go and solve just like 50 to like 100 DI questions of that topic. My next mistake was not analyzing my mocks properly. So what I would do was that I would like analyze my mocks, like I would read just the wrong answers, and I would be like, okay, I'll just check this explanation from the answer key, and even if I wouldn't understand it, I would be like, okay, it's fine, and I would be like, okay, मैंने ये पढ़ लिया, next time I won't repeat it in the mock. But I would repeat it because I was not making a conscious effort to like improve my mistake, right? And through this I come to a very big tip, is that you should always analyze your right answers and wrong answers both, because you need to understand why your right answer was right. And sometimes we mark the question just by a fluke, or like we think okay, abhi is moment mein hame ye lag raha hai, even though we're confused between 2 options. So always go through your right answers, like analyze the whole mock, right? And just like try to discuss it with a friend in your coaching. Always try to have group discussions about mock analysis, because I feel like the answer key that's written cannot always give you the perspective that you want, right? And maybe this answer key also might have some wrong answers sometimes. So to understand other person's perspective, you need to have a verbal explanation. So I think friends and your coaching mates help a lot with that. Like having verbal mock analysis help a lot. And after mock analysis, you should always make a conscious effort to work on your weaknesses. You cannot ignore it कि okay, मैंने अब analyze कर लिया तो मैं नहीं ही करूँगी mock में ये mistake. You cannot be like that, right? So make a conscious effort to work on whatever you think went wrong. Maybe it won't improve suddenly in the next mock, but at least I would be more confident कि हाँ, I worked on it today. So most probably I would not be making the same mistake in tomorrow's mock or like the next mock that I give. So it would be just like a morale boost in general. So my next mistake was obviously blindly studying the whole day, not being strategic. I've talked about in my previous videos as well that I would just keep on studying and studying. Like if there was a GK PDF, then I would just keep doing it, and it was not like I was setting a time ki okay, I have to complete this in 3 hours, and I would just sit with a target and keep doing it all day. There was no strategy, there was no categorization of what I have to do, and like I would make a to-do list, but I wouldn't follow it. But the second time around, I was really big on to-do lists. Okay, if I'm saying that I will do it, I will do it, because like I can't keep sitting with one topic the whole time, right? So that I used to be like okay, newspaper इस वक्त में पढ़ना है, टाइमर लगा के पढ़ना है, इतना पढ़ लिया, मॉक देना है, देन इतना टाइम का ब्रेक लेना है, एंड उसके बाद वापस से एनालाइज करना है, देन उस दिन का टारगेट ख़त्म करना है, रात में मॉक एनालिसिस अटेंड करना है, उसके बाद I used to be I used to be serious with my strategy the second time around. Also I had time, so I was like I wouldn't obviously waste that precious time that I was given the second time. And one more thing that I used to do a lot during my preparation for the first time around was that I used to really spiral because of my mock marks, and I would just go into this whole, oh my god, mera kya hoga, and I would not get an NLU, what will happen to me, I will do nothing, I'm going to land up in any random college, I'll get a very bad rank. Like one mock marks would define that for me. Like I was 110% sure कि okay मेरा तो नहीं ही होने वाला है because of that. So I used to really let mock marks affect me बहुत ज़्यादा, and I think that's something that I really worked on the second time around. Of course I had bad days, I had bad mock scores the second time around as well, but I would understand कि it's okay, because what happens to you in a mock does not define what will happen to you in the actual paper. It will be different. It's not necessary that if you're scoring bad only you will go and score bad there, or if you're scoring excellently you will score excellently there also. So it's something that is very dependent on those 2 hours, but that doesn't mean that you will depend everything on those 2 hours. You'll obviously keep working for it, but don't let mock marks define you. Genuinely don't let it affect you. I would go and keep the mock out of my room after I was done with the analysis, and I think that's a very great advice that I would give to every single aspirant, is that don't think about the mock after one day. Keep it outside your room. Once it's out of your sight, it should be out of your mind as well. I think I've covered a lot in this video, and lastly I would like to say is that don't base your worth or your personality of one competitive exam. Even if you don't get an NLU or your dream college, it's genuinely gonna be okay. Not getting a good college does not mean it's the end of the world. So don't keep preparing with this constant unhealthy pressure in your mind that oh my god, if I don't get in then my whole life is over, because trust me, it's not. It's genuinely not. I've seen people in colleges that are not NLUs also doing great, doing well, they're doing good in life. So it's don't make it your whole personality or your whole life goal. You should work hard for it, you should work smart for it, you should work for it, be conscious about your efforts, work on your weaknesses, do everything right, but don't make it an unhealthy thing that you start hating in the process of it. It's something that you should like doing. Not every day, you'll have bad days, you're gonna have a lot of bad days, but it's very important to understand that even if you don't get what you want, it's genuinely okay. अभी से डोंट थिंक व्हाट विल हैपन, एंड अभी से डोंट थिंक कि ओके मैं तो ड्रॉप ही लेने वाला हूँ इस एग्ज़ाम के बाद, अच्छा जाएगा ही नहीं. यू नेवर नो व्हाट्स गोना हैपन, यू डोंट नो हाउ द 2026 पेपर इज गोना कम लाइक. सो जस्ट कीप प्रिपेयरिंग, बी पेशेंट विद इट, लेट योर सेल्फ बी काम, एंड let's first give the exam and then see what happens, and don't give yourself a certain sort of pressure कि अगर नहीं हुआ तो क्या होगा, because it's genuinely okay. So I hope that me telling about all these mistakes helped you, and I was very shocked myself that I had so many mistakes, but I really did. And if there's any query or doubt or any video suggestion, you can always comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Please do like, share and subscribe.